Hi there, students. To depend. To depend on. Depending on. Okay, let's see. If one thing depends on another, it is controlled by it. It is determined by it. It is contingent on it. Okay, let's see. Give you some examples. It'll make things easier. Are you going to the party on Saturday? It depends. That depends. It depends on whether I have to work or not. So, going to the party is contingent on me not working. If I'm not working, I will go to the party. If I am working, I won't go to the party. Okay, so we use this phrase, and it's very common. It depends, that depends, when we have no definitive answer, because there are different possible situations. We use this phrase to depend on, meaning one thing is changed by another. Notice we never use this in continuous tenses. It is depending on. No. Okay, so one thing depends on another, always in a simple tense. So, how much will I have to pay? It depends on the quality you need. It depends on how much of it you need. Okay, so one thing is changed by another. If you need more, then you have to pay more. Yeah, so the price is changed by the quantity. We also use this verb to depend, meaning you need something to survive. So, for example, children depend on their parents. The parents provide somewhere to eat, somewhere to live, things to eat. The economy of this country depends on tourism. Success depends on luck. Okay, so if you depend on something, you need it. Yeah? Human beings depend on oxygen, on air. Okay, you can depend on somebody. This means you are sure that they will do what is required, what you ask them to do. You can depend on him. He is reliable. You can trust him. You can bank on him. Also, you can depend that something will happen. You can expect the outcome of something with confidence. You can depend on him passing his exam because he knows everything that he needs to know to pass it. Okay, so to depend on somebody or something, to be sure about it, to be sure it's going to happen, to be sure they're going to do what is asked. We also have this phrase, as if your life depended on it, or as if your job depended on it. So, as hard as you can, with as much energy and enthusiasm and everything that you can, because otherwise something's going to happen. Something bad. He ran as if his life depended on it. I imagine there's a lion running behind him. But this is a metaphor. So, in that way. And with this thing of contingency, going back, controlled by, we use depend meaning according to. So quality depends on price. Quality is according to price. Okay, so yeah, it's determined by, if you like. Notice as well, you can use to depend, meaning to hang down, hanging down. but this is very literary and not really used. Okay, so what about the origin? Well, this comes from Latin, dependere, hanging down, hanging on. Yeah, so it's hanging, but another thing is supporting it, and that's the idea. Notice as well, to depend is a regular verb. Depend, depended, depended. And the preposition on is the preposition that goes with it. Yeah, so this is the dependent preposition. Yeah, on is the dependent preposition of depend. And formality, I think this is neutral formality. You could use it in a very informal conversation, you could use it in a very formal document. So flexible and easy to use on that score. Okay, so to depend on, to be controlled by, one thing depends on another. Yeah, one thing is changed by another. To depend on something or somebody, to need in order to survive. Yeah, he depends on his salary. Children depend on their parents. You can depend on somebody or depend on something happening. You are certain it's going to happen. You can rely on it. Okay? So, to depend, yes. And according to, in relation to. So, yeah, the speed you go at in your car depends on the size of the motor. It depends on how much you accelerate. It depends on which gear you're in. And then remember this phrase, it depends, that depends. This is when we have no definitive answer because there are different possible scenarios. Yeah? And the scenario that will happen depends on, yeah, is changed by which of the other scenarios happens. Okay? So, to depend. Yeah, and depend is a regular verb. Depend, depended, depended. So enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now. To depend on.